So then we begin. Now you learn to say something like, firstly, comma, and then begin. That's not the best. If you can't think of a way to write a sentence that just feels like the beginning of the first paragraph, then you could say something like the first reason why, or the first example of Hemingway's or Santiago's endurance, something like that. The first whatever is ... That's okay, but if you can think of a sentence that just feels like you're saying the first example without actually saying it, that's better. So if you can't think of one, use this, but if you can, do. No, this is good for a second paragraph. I like it though. I'm gonna save that. So our first example here is that he's still at it. Okay. The novella's opening line states, okay. Looks like we're gonna get a quote. States that, quote, he was an old man who fished alone. Okay, unquote. And that is on page 9. And then I want to skip to the line where it says that all the other old guys have long since quit. Santiago is still young at heart, still full of faith that he may catch a prize lunker. Sounds weird. A prize winner. Let's just keep it simple. Santiago is still young at heart, still full of faith that he may catch a prize winner. And then this part is not bothered when the other older fishermen on the docks, on the terrace, I capitalized terrace in here, made fun of the old man, and he was not angry. And maybe I'll include this other one actually. So that's page 11, just mark it. The other fisherman quote, looked at him and were sad, but they did not show it. Let's see, what's better? I think this first one is good. Still full of faith. And I think I'll just use their words. I'll get rid of this part. And when the other older fishermen on the terrace made fun of the old man, I'm going to skip the and here because it means the same thing. That's how you do that. You skip portions in a sentence by having space dot, space dot, space dot. These are ellipses. It means there's something in between there you can check in the book. And you can't change it completely to change the meaning, but as long as the meaning's the same, you can do this to skip parts so that your quote doesn't go on forever. All right. The novella's opening line states that I'm going to get rid of this. This is unnecessary. Most of the language needs to be ours, and this quote doesn't really do anything other than just say he's old. So this is pretty early on in the book, so I'll do the same thing, just saying that this happens early on. They talk about Santiago being old but still fishing, which is unusual in the first few pages. The novel's opening pages. Display. Okay, the novella's opening pages display how Santiago continues to fish each day despite the disadvantages that age bring. Okay, so there's my topic sentence. So what I was talking about, having something that feels like the words, the first reason is blank, without actually saying it, would be something like this. But you could also, again, say the first reason, or the first example of the thesis statement is how Santiago continues to fish each day despite the disadvantages that age bring. And then we go on to explain, maybe add a quote in MLA format. Santiago is still young at heart, still full of faith that he may catch a prize winner. So expanding on this idea. And when other older fishermen on the terrace, quote, made fun of him, he was not angry. All right. Now, this is how you include a quote. You need the page number from the book, and when you write it, it's going to be in parentheses. You will not write PG, period, or page, nothing, just the page number. That's it. Now, if the sentence in the book that you're looking at ends with a period here, get rid of it. If it ends with a comma here, get rid of it. Whatever punctuation you have will come after the parentheses. And ideally, your sentence should introduce the quote, the way I've done here, provide the quote, and then comment on the quote, often in the same sentence. But at least you've got to have one or the other. If you just have a quote sitting there all by itself, it looks sloppy. But as long as you've got one or the other, it's okay. So we introduce the quote, we provide the quote. After the quote, we put the page number parentheses, and then the period for that sentence goes after the parentheses. Okay, then the next step, I need to explain what that quote means, or expand upon it in some way. And so the way I'm going to do that is explain kind of why I've chosen this quote. I mean, what's the idea here? Old men make fun of him. Well, why are they making fun of them? I think as readers, we look at that and say, oh, they're kind of teasing him, but maybe deep down they're jealous. In fact, in the book, the next line says that they were sad. Okay, so topic statement, introduction of the quote, quote kind of to prove it, description of the quote, another sentence to comment on the quote and say how this is a good thing, and then we sort of have a sentence that's a conclusion of this idea. Now, I could just ham-handedly refer to the thesis statement again, but I want to transition to it in a way that that feels natural. I'm going to put this down here so we can see the whole thing at once. All right, I'm going to provide an example from life to reinforce this idea that I don't think it's been developed quite enough. So you have the idea that peer pressure is powerful, and a lot of people have this desire to look cool, even sometimes at the sacrifice of growth, or learning new things, or trying something that's difficult. People do not. All right, let's read through this, see if it's okay. The novella's opening pages display how Santiago continues to fish each day, despite the disadvantages that age brings. Santiago is still young at heart, still full of faith that he may catch a prize winner. And when the other older fishermen on the terrace, quote, made fun of the old man, he was not angry. Page 11. Peer pressure can be a powerful force, but Santiago does not consider voices contrary to his goal. He understands deep down that he was born to be a fisherman, and the impulse to look fashionable in front of others does not influence his choices. The quality of striving in the face of potential embarrassment is valuable and rare, but extremely important for growth. People don't earn respect by retiring and golfing their lives away, but by striving to accomplish goals that benefit society. So here's my example of this idea that I've explained here, expanding on this quote. And listening to voices that get in the way of important goals is counterproductive at any age. In a way, Santiago's endurance is best proved here at the terrace when others are looking, at the risk of embarrassment. Okay, something like that. Now let's bring this back up here. Okay.